Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia. The U.S. Congress basically passed a bill together with all the Ukraine military aids and whatnot in the same bill. It's actually part of the same bill, which will allow United States to make use of the Russian assets that are currently locked in U.S. banks. This is actually rather serious. It's not a lot in the grand scale of things of the amount of frozen Russian assets. It's 6 billion of 300 billions that is currently in United States. Most of it is actually in the EU. So the thing is that this new act, the Repo Act, will allow Biden to confiscate the frozen assets in the U.S. banks, and then they can transfer all this money to Ukraine. So that is actually at least the plan. They actually created this law to allow them to actually do something like this. And of course, Russia is not taking this lightly, and Russia wants Europe, because the main thing is that most of the assets is now in Europe. So the key thing is that everything that the United States do, the Europe will follow. The Europeans will follow, and usually the Europeans will look at United States for the lead. And which is why the Russian warning to Europe is that if you take our asset, they were going to have a response that will hurt. The thing is that they have not really said exactly what is the reactions going to be. So the Valentina Vayenko, the Speaker of the Upper House, the State Duma, says that they have a draft law. They are now ready to consider immediately to retaliate, and they claim that Europe will lose more than the Russians will, and so they, of course, they did not say what is this retaliation is going to be. So the rumors have it that according to some viral tweets, the State Duma speaker said this total Western assets that is currently stuck in Russia worth more than 288 billion. I tried to fact check this to find any articles, including going to Russia Today, the RT, to try to find this number or this statement, but I cannot find it. So I'm not sure where this statement come from. So maybe it's in Russian or something, which I didn't manage to find. So according to the Fox News, they also reported that if United States go ahead with this confiscation of Russian assets, then Russia will now have grounds to seize Western assets, as per warned in the tweet just now that has gone really viral. I was reluctant to retweet it because I really cannot find the source for that. So as per mentioned earlier, 6 billion of the Russian assets is now in the US, but the 210 billion is are in EU, which is actually the more significant amount of this frozen asset. And of course, the Europeans are very itchy. They really want to confiscate it and give it to Ukraine. And Ukraine has been asking for it non-stop. But there is a huge complication that if they start to do it, I'll talk about it later after we cover most of these headlines. So this was already mentioned, and so this is basically just a corroboration of the article that was mentioned just now. So on Russia Today, they mentioned that the Russia side has issued diplomatic warnings against Washington, against the United States. They say that they will downgrade the relationship with United States if the assets are confiscated. Of course, people who are anti-Russia will think that downgrade lah. What's the big deal? What's the point of already no relationship, can downgrade, no problem. But it's more than that. The more you downgrade, the more likely the two sides will go to war. The more likely Russia will start to take military actions or things or supplements or military aids to countries that is combating United States. And of course they can also start to do a lot of weird shit in the. Of course, it's still very limited. United States is still really powerful for now. So anyway, this is the warning. Basically, some of the facts that we already covered is very similar. So according to Ruskov, who is Ruskov? Ruskov. I actually missed it. Okay, Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov. Ryakov. They say that they are now studying the appropriate form of reaction. So among the countermeasure, there will be actions taken against the asset of the Western opponents and a diplomatic measure of response. So one does not cancel the other. There's simply no solution yet, and they claim that there is also no solution on the other side. So he also previously warned that the United States shouldn't act like as if Russia is actually dying to keep relationship with the United States. He's basically saying that Russia don't really needs to protect the diplomatic relationship with the United States to the point where they are like hugging it like as if they are part of the EU. So. And they claim that the seizure of the assets will be theft, and then this will also Dmitry Peskov, the spokesman of Kremlin, also warned that the United States will damage their own economy and the global financial system should they confiscate Russian assets. And actually, this is very true. Like again, I will talk about this a bit later. So. So this is a corroboration of the RT news. For those that know, maybe some of you guys don't believe in RT. We have we have Fox News, basically writing exactly more or less the same thing. So basically they have said exactly the same thing, and the quoted is RIA, basically the exact same thing that RT have basically repeated. So these are the same thing. So these are all factual statements coming from these people, these powerful people. So Moscow wants this is the same article as per the previous one, that the EU will lose more than Russia if they confiscate. This is a warning to EU, and adding on to this is that the chairwoman of the Federation Council say that if EU confiscate Russia, it will be unprecedented and it will destroy the global economy, and it is true. Very true. And it will be absolutely illegal, and everyone in Europe understand that they can't do that. So these are the same thing. Okay, so Matvienko, which is yet another person. Matvienko is Valentina Matvienko, a senior senator. I think it's this girl. Yeah, this lady over here. They said that they have a bill that they consider to respond. Europe will lose more, and they are afraid given that their economy is collapsing. And and they also the Russians are very surprised as well. They say that in defense and security, Europe used to be a vassal state to United States. Now they are being squashed by the Americans, which is actually coincidentally have been something that I have been talking about for a long time. I've said for at least a year now that United States is now destroying Europe. They are literally still on the same mission for the past 200 years on this slow process of totally destroying the European empires of old. And so like when I cover about the Niger situation, the Sahel region where French is losing their influence, and you can see that the American operations and activities in the region actually did not move at all. And in fact, it seems to ramp up. It seems like, it is part of the Americans' plan to destroy the French influence and power. So this is now basically a Russian senator saying basically more or less the same thing. They also observe the exact same thing that is currently happening. So the Americans now want to strangle Europe even more to make them even less competitive. And this is actually very true. It's already happening. You can now see that Germany is now the German chancellor, or is it prime minister, is now in China trying to get some kind of deal. Because they are struggling really badly. So this is currently, getting really, really bad, the situation in Europe. I will definitely going to cover more on the European situation when I can. I know that there's a heavy loads of propaganda, misinformation in Europe, and a lot of cover-ups. So I will try to see what I can find, and definitely everything will be factual, but based on data, and then you'll decide for yourself and see if Europe is in crisis. So this is the current situation, and on top of that, you have Switzerland as well. That is supposed to be neutral. Switzerland actually is blocking the Russian assets. I don't even think Switzerland did that in World War II against the Nazis. So this is actually very unprecedented from Switzerland as well. And so the big news is actually that the amount of money, the assets, Russian assets that the Swiss have frozen has actually fallen in value. So so basically the big hoo-ha was that Switzerland was defending themselves and say that they did not let go of any of this asset, or no, or they have not been lazy. Everything remains the same. Everything is still frozen. It's just that the value of these assets have dropped. The stock values and everything has dropped because war. European economy is not good. So this is the main thing. This by RT, but we have the exact same article being repeated over in Reuters. So it's basically exactly the same thing. So this is the thing. And coming back to this implications on the geopolitical side and the economic side, is that the entire global economy is built on trust. It's built on faith in a system that everybody shares and everybody uses. The American-led financial system is already under threat. The main thing is because of the Ukraine war, because they have banned Russia from the SWIFT system, which means that now anyone want to trade and transfer money through the bank system, through this SWIFT system, they cannot reach the Russian side, and they cannot pay money, they cannot transfer money, and this is actually unprecedented. And this basically kick Russia out of the international financial system, and this will have heavy implications. Because now every big country is worried. Indonesia, India, Brazil, even Saudi Arabia, Egypt, every single country that which are potentially major economies, major powers. Even if they are not major military powers, they are major regional powers. Every of these countries is worried, because if the Americans and the West, collective West, dare to do it to Russia, which is actually a nuclear power, what do a country like Indonesia have? What kind of options and what kind of resistance would they have against such an attack, such a financial attack? A country like Indonesia will be collapsed. A country like Thailand will not be able to resist it. Brazil is going to have problems. So all these major countries, regional countries, even Saudi Arabia is going to have a lot of problems dealing with such an attack, such a financial attack. So everybody is on edge. And now every country invests in one another. If you do not know, most countries, basically almost all countries, maybe with the exception of some barrier states like North Korea and Iran, also have a lot of their assets previously overseas that is frozen. So, but the thing is, they was never confiscated. Everyone trades and invests in one another to hedge their funds and reserve in the wealth and the prosperity of another country. So, for example, Singapore have a lot of money. We invested a lot in United States and China, and we invest in their future. We invest in their prosperity, and when they do well, we do well. So everybody does well. So that is the whole point of all these things. But once you start to froze asset, that also puts chills, which means that when I invest in you, I'm putting myself under blackmail, a possible blackmail. And now if I put money in you, you blackmail me, and then you steal my money, it's a totally different thing altogether. And this is what this entire confiscation of the Russian assets entails, which means that from this moment onward, from the moment that the West confiscate Russia's assets, which means that the entire collective West, United States, and because Europe will definitely follow United States. So if United States does it, Europe will do it. And if the collective West was cease to become a place where you can invest your money, no one will invest their money in the West, which means that now China is cash rich. China will basically remove all their money out of Europe and United States, because it's totally unviable to put your money there, because you will just get blackmailed and get your money stolen. It's no difference from me passing a few $100s to to someone random on the street, some guy in looking like he's some mafia or gangster, and then say, hey, help me save my money, I will get from you, in a year's time. This guy will just disappear forever, because this is what the West is basically advertising themselves as some kind of mafia that will take your money and will not return it to you. This is the threat. And if they follow through with the confiscation, they will destroy their own financial system. Everyone will start to withdraw their money away. And it's not just about faith. Like, for example, Singapore, Japan, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand, maybe we are all more pro-West, more lean West. We want to still prop up this Western system because it's beneficial to these countries. But when you have China, India, every single other country removing their money, all the share price, all the asset price, the investment, everything will fall in value. And if that happens, then all the investment will become worthless. Which means that all these countries, including Singapore, Australia, Japan, will start to withdraw their money first, because they tend to have better economies. They react faster. They may do the withdrawal of the money first, and then it will collapse the entire Western system. Doing this will destroy the West for good. So this is not a solution. As much as you may hate Russia, you may disagree with their invasion of Ukraine, confiscating of their assets will destroy the West. It will destroy your world and my world and everyone around, even if you're not part of the West, because a fall of the global financial system will mean a collapse of lifestyle for every single person in the world. It is what it is. You may think that, I'm from China, I do not get affected. No, we China very strong. No, it doesn't work, because where does China sell most of their goods to? To the West, to United States. And what happens if the economy of the West and the United States collapse? There is no buyers. When there's no buyers, all of the third world country will collapse, because no one will buy their natural resources. Nobody will buy their manufactured goods. It will be a global financial crisis. So I put a warning out, but of course I'm who am I? I'm small little DPA, Anyway, thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe, share this to everyone if you can. And of course, for the pro-Ukrainians and or anti-Russian people, very important. This is not a solution. You don't want to go down this route. I'll see you guys in the next update.